President Peter, fellow Rotarians, in honour of His Excellency Peter Wilcott's visit today, I thought as a recovering Australian I should help you get clued up on some of the trivia and some of the great knowledge there is to be had about Australia that you may not know. So I thought we would start with the top things you may not have known about Australia. And it's a bit of a quiz and it's a bit of a competition this week. There's going to be a prize for the winning table. So could I ask that that one person just simply tally the correct answer? There needs to be a table response, and we're going to go with the honour system. We've only got 5 minutes, haven't got time to go around the tables and write everything down. So an honour system, could one person on the table be tasked with the job of giving the table response? So here goes. Question number 1. Which country designed their current flag first? That's fine. I'm not going to reveal it until everybody's had a chance. To answer it, right? Presumably, you've all got your answers, and honesty prevails here. The answer is New Zealand in 1902, a full 6 years before Australia. The second question. How many years would it take to visit a new beach every day in Australia? Okay, the honour system kicks in here, guys. The honour system kicks in here. The answer is 27. That makes it just under 9,000 beaches. A fine for anyone who has attended 2 or more Australian beaches. Let's talk about kangaroos. How many recorded types of kangaroos are there in Australia? Okay, honour system again. The answer is 60. A fine if you've ever seen one in the wild, in the zoo or on a golf course. Let's talk about New Australia. In 1892, a group of 200 Australians unhappy with the government tried to start an offshoot colony in which South American country? I'm glad you know the answer, Peter. Oh, right. If you're feeling bad, Peter has only answered 1 correctly in the first 4. This one. Okay, the answer is Paraguay. A fine for anyone who's wished their neighbours would do the same. Tourists. Each week in Australia, how many tourists overstay their visas? No, it's not. Okay, the honour system kicks in again. The answer is 70. Beer-swilling Prime Ministers. Former Australian Prime Minister Bob Hawke set a world record for sculling 2.5 pints of beer in how many seconds? Okay, the answer is 11. He later claimed it was the reason for his political success. Right, let's talk about camels. How many feral camels are there in outback Australia? You mustn't include the ones in the zoo. Okay, honour system kicks in. The answer is 1 million. Saudi Arabia imports camels from Australia mainly for meat, breeding and milk. Camel milk is supposedly a new superfood. There you go. Right, let's talk about fences. Australia is home to the longest fence in the world, originally built to keep dingoes away from fertile land. How long is it?
Which side is the fertile land?
There's a bit of vegetation there.
Gotcha.
Dingo. There's a little bit of grass I can see there, Peter. Olivier, did you spot a fence across the Sahara? Was there a fence across the Sahara? No fence, no. Okay, the honour system kicks in, and the answer is 5,600 kilometres. Almost done. Right. The Australian coat of arms features two endemic animals, the kangaroo and the emu. They were selected because neither can move backwards. Is that true or false? True or false? The answer, honour system, I hope the table has voted. The honour system, please, is it's true. They were chosen because they wanted a progressive nation that wouldn't go backwards. It's also the only country in the world that does eat its animals on its coat of arms. And finally, number 10, is it true that 200 female convicts mooned the governor of Tasmania in 1832? And the answer is? Yes. Thank you. Oh, sorry, which was the winning table? Sorry, can we just do a quick count? Which team scored 4? Which team scored 5? Any team scored 6? Team that scored 7? 8? 9? 10? Right, the winning table needs to put an extra bonus $50 into the sunshine box.
Thank you all. It's a great privilege for me to talk to you about 5 minutes presentation. My real presentation is about 45 minutes, so I tried to condense everything together and give you a little bit of a summary about what's been an amazing week for me, just not a long time ago. And maybe to refresh some people, but we're going to play as well the video that was on 7 sharp at the end, yeah. So, I mean, I guess I take my sport and my personal belief in the same similar way that I run a business, and we're talking about 10 years goals and all things like this in business. Well, I did the same, as you probably remember, with my goal of running 100 marathons by 2020. So, so far, I run a good amount of marathons, and I wanted to raise a little bit more awareness for the charities that I'm running for the Red Cross. And I found this, I will say, race, which was very unusual, but that gave me the opportunity to raise a large amount of money with sponsors. And I'm so grateful that many sponsors came on board. I was looking for 10, and 23 came on board, which is unusual. And together, we raised more than $30,000 for the Red Cross. This is amazing. So it's all possible, and people think that, oh, you're fit, you can do this. But I would say, you know, a race like I'm going to present today, it's not about fitness. Obviously, a race like this, it's long, 7 days long, but actually, believe it or not, you can walk this race. The only thing I will say, it will probably be twice harder than what I did, because you're going to be twice under the heat, twice under the sun, and it's not very, I will say, easy to do that. So I think I've tried to get this into the rotating, but the picture that I took here, I took it myself. There's no Photoshop. This is really the color that was, I will say, during the Sahara. That was just outstanding. We all met in Casablanca. We drove to Ouarzazate. Ouarzazate, the last town before the Sahara. We didn't know where was the race. We didn't know how many kilometers were to be run each day. So on the convoy of buses, that was the first convoy, we were given our book, and there was a map, and that was at this stage that we knew that we were going to run 237 kilometers this year. A little bit shorter than in the other years, but this time we were climbing 3 times a Jebel, which is unusual. Normally it's once. First time that we get into, I will say, all together with the elites, and we arrive in the tent that's going to be my hotel room for the next 7 days. Just a tent with a piece of carpet, and we were all sharing this tent with 7 or 8 other athletes. 51 nationalities. We all different gender, different culture, different country, but we all had the same goal to compete together. And straight away we could feel the friendship, and it was very, very nice to feel this. First day, you can imagine 1,200 runners all running together. Some very fast, some slower, walking, running. It's a helicopter going around. You've got photographs all over the show. You've got about 50, 60 paramedics as well looking after you. It's just like an amazing experience. The whole organization is so well organized. It's just, you will be amazed how it is organized. They've been running the race for 32 years. And that's the view that we had on a daily basis. It was only about sand. There were some jebel, big mountains. There were some, I would say, flat section with gravels, long distance like this. And the temperature could rise up to 51 degrees. That's me with the uniform, with the bib number 609 and a couple of my sponsors. And I decided to have like some clothes on my arms and legs that was helping me to put water on I would say, every time I went to a different checkpoint, I was keeping moist like this and keeping refreshed. Water, we were given water before the race, during the race at different checkpoints, and every time they were asking if we had our salt tablets and if we wanted more water. But we were receiving a quantity of water the same like everybody else. And all those bottles were given with your bib number on the top and on the bottle. If they found your bottle somewhere, you were fine. And so that's why part of our compulsory gear, we had to get 200 euros with us. That was to pay for our fines. I must say I came back with my 200 euros, so it was good. Some of the Jebel, just magnificent. You've got an amazing view, and I don't know if you see here. No, there's no point. But there's the camp, which you look right here. It looks close, but it's not close at all. It's 5 kilometers, but it took forever to get there. And some of the climbs were just magnificent. You can imagine the atmosphere, the heat, the sun, and everyone's running, sweating. And if I can say sweating, we were not really sweating because that's very, very surprised. I would say when you run or when you do some sort of activity, you base your level of liquid in your body based on how you sweat. We were not sweating. It was dry, completely dry all the time. So it was hard to judge how much water do we need to take. Some of the place like this, that was very flat. We were following those little marks on the floor, and sometimes I was following those marks, or I was following the people in front of me. And following the people in front of me wasn't the best thing, because I didn't realize until the long days that they were not necessarily taking the shortcuts. They were taking the easy cut. So sometimes dunes, they were going on the right or on the left, not going straight. They were a little bit lazy. I was following them. But at the end of the long day, instead of doing 86 kilometers on a long day, I did 92, just by doing this. Yeah. So we were going through some different oases, beautiful, and you can imagine running in the middle of nowhere and you go through a little village or sometimes just a house, and some people were living there on their own, just surprising. Some of the, I will say, bed of a river that was so dry, and that was the last day, the marathon day on the sixth day, this one. Some of the scenery was just magnificent. This is the last day where we did a walk of 7 kilometers with some of the family and VIPs. They came to join us, and they were able to walk with us for a local charity in Morocco. And after, the medal that I share very much. That was all about this, and that's very emotional when you come at the last day and you've done what you were expecting, what you booked a long time in advance, like 18 months in advance. So here on the left are all my sponsors, and I'm very, very grateful for all the sponsors. CQ Hotel, obviously. And a lot of people just, I will say, were so supportive right from the start, and all for the Red Cross. So when I decided to join this race, I had about $11,000 on my fundraising page. When I came back, it was about 38,000, and since then, people are still providing, I will say, some fundraising. And as of yesterday, I'm already $44,000, and my aim is to get to 50,000. If you want some inspiration, people may think, oh, yeah, you're amazing, but I will say those people are the most inspirational people. On the far left, you've got a double leg amputee from Afghanistan. In the middle, you've got French blind runners who completed this race 13 times. And on the right, you've got an athlete from Luxembourg who's got no arms. Those people are inspirational for me. That's me, thank you. And that's a little video to conclude. Hope that will not be too long. Thank you very much.